Tonight on News Prime, the National Inland Waterways Authority has called on waterways transport users to maintain standard. RBC's United Arab Emirates commit 110 billion naira to New African project. And at the foreign scene, King Charles hails the health workers, calls for peace. At the sport, Nottingham Forest stayed on the Premier League after upsetting Tottenham. Hello and welcome to News Prime here on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Edikan Michael. A reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and free to air on Nicomsat. Tonight, we begin by telling you that the National Inland Waterways Authority has called on the waterways transport users to avoid the substandard and poorly maintained boat. The authority also urged the National Assembly to expedite the passage of the Coastal Guards Bill to improve the safety and security across the nation's waterways. Speaking at the technical meeting with boat manufacturers in Abuja, the Managing Director Bola Oyabamiji made the call following the tragic boat mishap on December 16, 2024 along the River Benue route in Agatu local government area of Benue State, which claimed several lives. Oyabamiji expressed deep concern over the increasing frequency of boat accidents, attributing 90% of these incidents to human error. He pointed out that many boat operators lack the necessary training and some are even under the influence of intoxicants before setting out on their journeys. The University of Abuja has denied claims of bias and irregularities in the ongoing selection process of the vice-chancellors. Our senior professors at the institution reportedly protested what they described as a flawed process for the appointment of the institution's new vice-chancellor. The immediate past Vice-Chancellor Professor Abdul Rashid Nawala had, before his exit as the VC on July 1st, commenced the process for the appointment of his successor. Though Nawala handed over to the Deputy Vice-Chancellor Academics Professor Aisha Makudi, a law professor in an acting capacity. There's been tension in the institution as certain stakeholders insisted that Makudi did not have enough years of qualification as a professor to attain such height. In a statement issued by the Acting Director of Information and University Relations, Habib Yakub, the university's dismissed claims that Makudi is being unfairly favored, adding that the acting VC, like other candidates who applied for the position, is fully qualified and competent for the role. And now the Adamawa State Police Command has dismissed claims that the convoy of the state governor, Ahmadu Fintiri, was attacked by armed robbers in the neighboring Taraba state. The state's Commissioner of Police, Maurice Damwoma, described the social media report about an attack on the governor's convoy as not wholly misleading but totally false. He said the fact of the matter that on December 19th, the advanced security vehicle in the convoy of the Adamawa State Governor, while returning from Taraba State, encountered a roadblock mounted by robbers. The advanced security team of the governor, comprising gallant officers, promptly responded by chasing the armed robbers away, cleared the road, and ensured the safe continuation of movement for all motorists. Now, marking the holy year of the Catholic Church, Pope Francis has opened a holy door at a prison in Rome, offering a message of hope and forgiveness to inmates. The opening of the holy door in a prison is a symbolic gesture. The Pope is known for advocating for the forgiveness of convicted criminals and their reintegration into the society. Arriving in a wheelchair, Francis paused for a moment of silence before rising with the help of the walking stick. During the visit, the Pope left the inmate with a message of hope. And 4 drug kingpins arrested in connection with the historic seizure of 2,139 kilograms of cocaine at the Ikorodu residential estate in Lagos State in 2022 have been convicted by Federal High Court, Lagos, presided over by Justice Iyale Mbagoro, who sentenced them to various jail terms totaling 28 years with hard labor. In a statement signed by the Director of Media and Advocacy of NDLEA headquarters, Femi Babafemi, he said operatives of the Special Operations Unit of NDLEA had in a well-coordinated and intelligence-led operations on Sunday, September 18, 2022, right at a house located at 6 Olokola Crescent in Estate Ikorodu, Lagos, where the over 2.1 of tons of the cocaine were seized, the largest singular cocaine seizure in the history of Nigeria's anti-narcotic operations. Now, the Nigeria Air Force has announced plans to acquire 24 M-34-6 fighter ground attack jets and 10 AW-109 Tracker helicopters to boost its air capabilities in the fight against insurgency. The Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, made this known at the Christmas luncheon with Nigeria Air Force personnel in Maiduguri. He said the current security challenges in the country required modern and versatile platforms to be addressed, adding that the Nigeria Air Force will continue to sustain to foster the professionalism and combat readiness under his watch, alongside a stronger emphasis on maintaining sound administration. It therefore pledged to prioritize personnel welfare, recognize excellence, and ensure an efficient system of rewards and sanctions, as it thanked all officers and soldiers of the Nigerian Army for the sacrifices and untiring commitment in tackling the numerous security challenges facing the country. Our Vice President Kashim Shettima has expressed optimism about Nigeria's future, reaffirming the commitment of the federal government to national security, economic transformation, and the well-being of all citizens. In a Christmas message, Shettima has assured Nigerians that the administration of President Bola Tinubu is resolute in its efforts to tackling the critical issues such as security and economic challenges as the country prepares for the coming year. Highlighting Nigeria's diversity and strength, the Vice President called on Nigerians to use the festive period to strengthen unity across all regions and faith. Now, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security has distributed seeds, fertilizers, and other inputs to 2,000 farmers in Niger State under the National Agricultural Growth Scheme and Agro Pocket. The National Project Officer, APIM MK Ishaku Baba, disclosed this on Thursday during the distribution of inputs for the 2024-2025 dry season wheat farming in Garafini and Shwashi communities in Borgu local government area of Niger State. And according to Boba, who was represented by Mosaku Imano from the ministry, the scheme targeted 2,000 farmers in 2 clusters, and it has taken off on 2,000 hectares of land in the 2 communities using mechanized farming methods. The Nigerian Navy forward operating base Ibakoda has intercepted a boat carrying approximately 100,000 liters of stolen crude oil at the Dioba Mahim coastal line in a local government area of Ondo State. The commanding officer of the base, Captain Ali Usman, disclosed this to journalists during an assessment visit to the site, stating that the naval team acted on credible intelligence and swiftly deployed its quick response team. I explained that the team intercepted a wooden boat loaded with the stolen crude oil, along with items used for bunkering activities such as discharge hoses and the pumping machines. You're watching the News Prime Beyond Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. When News Prime returns, King Charles hails the health workers, calls for peace. I'll bring details of these as well as foreign and sports stories coming after this short break. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Many thanks for staying with us here on News Prime. And on to business. The United Arab Emirates has become the largest investor in new business projects in Africa, committing $110 billion to various ventures between 2019 and 2023. According to the Middle East Monitor, these include $72 billion for renewable energy and surpassing investment by UK, France, and China. Much of these investment has focused on renewable energy, with $72 billion directed towards green energy projects. African leaders have welcomed this increased investment, especially for energy and infrastructure. Now, the World Bank has announced the removal of several loan fees to make borrowing more affordable for vulnerable countries. The Global Bank disclosed this through a link posted on its official X handle, stating that the move is part of a broader effort to expand financial capacity and address urgent global challenges, including the climate change, inequality, and economic fragility. It further revealed that the bank had eliminated the prepayment premium on International Bank for Reconstruction and Development loans, introduced a grace period for commitment fees on undisbursed balances, and extended its low pricing to small vulnerable states. And now the financial institution added that the bank is working hard to make it easier for countries to borrow and to pay back their loans more easily by removing some fees on International Bank for Reconstruction and Development loans. And now the National Bureau of Statistics has marked 35 billion into the 2025 budget proposal for capacity building and cybersecurity and data center management. This allocation comes at a critical time as the agency grapples with the aftermath of a cyber attack that compromised its website on December 18, 2024. And now the breach, which was publicly disclosed via the Bureau's official X, and led to a warning for the public to disregard any information on the platform until the situation is resolved. Now this incident has raised significant concerns about the vulnerability of the Bureau's digital infrastructure, especially considering its crucial role as not just primary source of statistical data. On the foreign scene tonight, King Charles III has expressed gratitude to doctors and nurses in the United Kingdom for their selfless service in supporting the royal family in his Christmas address, marking the end of a year during which he and the Princess Catherine have been battled with cancer. Speaking in the pre-recorded message from the former hospital chapel, the King paid tribute to medical staff, veterans and humanitarian workers, and touched on topics ranging from the global conflict to the fight and the far right riots in the UK this summer. Our foreign desk correspondent Amina Jibril has the rest of the details.
The monarch's traditional Christmas message, the first in nearly 2 decades, made outside a royal residence, was symbolically filmed in the ornate Fitzrovia Chapel in central London, from where he offered what he called special heartfelt thanks to the health workers who have supported him and other members of the royal family through the uncertainties and anxieties of illness.
Thinking especially of the many thousands of professionals and volunteers here in the United Kingdom and across the Commonwealth who, with their skills and out of the goodness of their heart, care for others, often at some cost to themselves.
Calling for peace, the King reflected on conflict across the world in a year which also marked the 80th anniversary of the D-Day landings.
On this Christmas Day, we cannot help but think of those for whom the devastating effects of conflict in the Middle East, in Central Europe, in Africa, and elsewhere pose a daily threat to so many people's lives and livelihoods. We also think of the humanitarian organizations working tirelessly to bring vital relief.
The eco-conscious King notably did not address climate change or environmental concerns this time around, in a shift from last year's address. Amina Jibril reporting for Global Television News.
And now Syria's new authorities launched an operation in a stronghold of the ousted President Bashir on Thursday, with the war monitor saying that 3 gunmen affiliated with the former government were killed. Assad fled Syria after an Islamist-led after were arrested from his controlled city after the city until Damascus fell on December 8, ending his clan's 5-decade rule and more than 13 years of civil war. Syria's new leaders from Islamist group Hayat face a monumental task of safeguarding the multi-sectarian, multi-ethnic country from further collapse. A Palestinian TV channel says 5 of its journalists have been killed in an Israeli strike in the central Gaza Strip. According to report, the journalists were in the goods vans parked outside the Al-Wada hospital, where the wife of one of the journalists was about to give birth in the central Nuseirat refugee camp. The channel posted a video of what it said was the burning vehicle with a press signage on the back doors. The Israeli Air Force said it had attacked in a targeted manner and with intelligence guidance a vehicle with members of armed group and Palestinian Islamic Jihad inside. Now, Bangladesh has ordered a commission to investigate a failed 2009 army mutiny and subsequent crackdown, including the role of the large foreign backers, the inquiry chief said. The violent mutiny sent shockwaves through the South Asian nation and ended with the army crushing the mutineers with scores arrested and sentenced to death. A previous official investigation into the mutiny, which left scars dead men, years of pent-up anger among ordinary soldiers who felt their appeals for pay rises and better treatment were ignored. At the sport tonight, former Golden Eaglets player Hamzat Ojadiran says he aims to secure a place in the senior national team of the Super Eagles ahead of the remaining World Cup matches in 2025. Ojadiran, based on his sterling performances for his League One team, Lens, is hopeful that the coach of the Super Eagles will consider him, as he believes he has the quality to compete at the highest level. Now, despite suffering a hamstring injury after joining the Les Saint 8 at the full Burgundy side, the former junior international midfielder quickly settled into the club setup and claimed a starting spot in the lineup. Our chairman of the Nigeria Premier Football League, Benga Laban Leje, has declared that the minimum salary a club should pay players will be reviewed after the 2024-2025 campaign. He discloses during a roundtable discussed with newsmen in Akure, saying the league will only attract investors through the transparency, credibility and professional referring. According to the former Director General of National Sports Commission, the league management will continue its zero tolerance for the hooliganism and any kind of violence at the match venues. Nearly 30 years have passed since the last of their famous adventurers overseas, but Forest are third in the Premier League after beating Tottenham at the City Ground and starting to dream under the Nuevo Espirito Santo. Anthony Lango's goals in the first half made it 4 wins in a row for Nuno's team, easing them up to third and already beyond the last season total of 32 points. Erling Haaland had a second half penalty served as Manchester City's astonishing slump continued with a 1-1 draw against the lowly Everton at the Etihad Stadium. Winner of the last 4 Premier League titles, the English champions have won just once in their last 13 games in all the competitions. Bernardo Silva put City in the front early before Ilima salvaged a point for the Toffees, and City climbed to 6 points but could end the day 5-point drift ahead of the day 4. Our City boss Pep Guardiola considered ahead of the game that his side had the risks of failing to qualify for the Champions League for the first time in 15 years. Now, Sporting Lisbon has sacked coach Joe Pereira just over a month after he replaced Ruben Amorim at the helm with the Rio Brugge's appointed boss. Pereira was named coach when Amorim left for English giant Manchester United, but has paid the price for Sporting Southern loss of form. Now, the capital club, who had 100% record in the Premier League La Liga this season before he took over the last top spot in the Portuguese top flight to Benfica following the 0-0 draw with Gil last weekend. And now to wrap up the news, let's take a look at our top stories. The National Inland Waterways Authority has called on waterways transport users to avoid substandard and poorly maintained boats. And the United Arab Emirates has become the largest investor in the new business project in Africa, committing $110 billion to various ventures between 2019 and 2023. And the foreign scene, King Charles III has expressed gratitude to doctors and nurses in the United Kingdom for their selfless service in supporting the royal family. On the spot, nearly 30 years have passed since the last of the famous adventures overseas, but Forest are third in the Premier League after beating Tottenham. And that's all we have for you on Global Television News Prime. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365, on Star Time channel 276, and free to air on Nicomsat. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms using @Global TV NG. I am Edikan Michael. On behalf of the entire production team, we say thank you for joining us.